Hello everyone, welcome back to the workshop and another Sunday video. As you can see, as I said in the previous videos, I had a student in last week and they were working on the two bottom sashes with my guidance, and a really nice job's been done of said bottom sashes. As you can see, they glued up. This one is nearly finished, it needs these bottoms plain enough, but I said leave that because obviously it's got to have its slope put in to meet the sill. So they were just lobbed off square, which is fine. I would have left them with the horns on, but it didn't matter. You know, they were getting ready to, they were trying to finish off, sort out a job, which is fine, no problem. And yeah, really lovely work. So I need to just make sure you guys can see that. You know, sawn off nicely. You can see the scribe work that's been done really well. Your nice fitting joints. You know, nice fitting joint that way. So when the student started this work, these mortises were cut. Everything else was cut by them. You know, really good example of, scribing work. There's a little bit more cleaning up can be done. Like there's a little bit of glue and things that needs cleaning out, but other than that, yeah, pretty good. So, just also wanted to look at this setup in the vise here. So, setup for planing the meeting mail, which there is still a little bit more to do, so it's a good demonstration. Obviously, normally I would make a meeting rail in one piece. So I'd make both meeting rails out of the same piece of timber normally. I would then saw this angle. If they were rebaited, it would be different. I would have to, if they had a rebate, I would have to make the two components separately, as I'm having to do with this one. And the reason we're having to make two components separately for this one is because the top meeting rail looks like that. So the top meeting rail has this curving. It then has the chamfered piece to meet this one. Okay. So hence I can't do my usual and make them out of two bits of timber, one piece of timber. We've had to make it from two separate pieces. This is my mistake. I forgot to mark this up, or say it needed to be marked up. So I've got a smidge left, so I'm going to pick up a jack for finishing. You can see the jack is riding over this slight hollow, which is a good thing because it means it'll be straighter. mark still on here and a mark just still on there, which is good. So I'll fine tune them if I need to later. And this is a typical sort of setup. If I've got to modify anything, because like this, I've made something wrong, I will quite often work to the two dogs here and a hold fast back here just to stop it slipping, and that's good enough. There you go. You see these tenons here were wedged and pegged. Now, in the original design, these bottom tenons were never pegged. I chose to peg them because looking at the mode of failure of the bottom frame, they've actually pushed away over the years. So, but we did still put the wedgeways in and then wedge down the sides like the originals had been. So if I show you the originals, this one here is a really good example because it's still got its wedge in the mortise. But you see the way they've sat away, and that's because they've just been allowed to sort of walk away off these wedges, and that's why we've put the bottom pegs in. The tops were always pegged. The top holes or top mortises were always pegged. So these have got pulled away. And it's not hard to see when you look at the way the wedges have compressed the tenons, why they don't always hold with tenons. This is a good example of a failure where moisture has been creeping up under the sill, and then it's sat between, under here, has been sat with moisture, but it's got in, then there's moisture getting in behind through this little split here. It's creeping in through this split and sitting in here behind the staff bead, and that's what's caused the failure at the back here. So this back rail is got a lot of decay just here. Yeah, I could repair it, and I could repair it, but the reason we didn't was this one. You can see by the tenon how deeply this has been rebaited out to take some new double glazed units, and they, yeah, not a great fit, not a great look at, not the best way of fitting double glazed units. And you can see here as well where this has been ripped out and how much narrower it's made the edge of this moulding. So yeah, pretty much most of this has been removed. So yeah, just a bit too much other damage for us to warrant repairing it. So the other thing I want to look at is where the cord sits. So this groove here allows the cord to sit in, but then past the pulley. So yes, this is a bottom window, but it will go right up to the pulley. And if this was cut square, it would only get to the pulley. It needs a little bit of space to allow it to pass the pulley. So then, this is quite a common cord keep. It has a round hole, and then down in there, you can see, maybe, I can get it in the camera in the right place. There's a round hole down through here, which connects into here. So we're looking at cutting this cord grip here. So what I've done, I've pulled a centre line on with the pencil. I've then found myself some tools. So I've got a mortise gauge and a 1/2 inch registered mortise chisel, marking knife and a small square. I found a brace and I found a 7/8 bit. Okay. So to lay one of these out, I'm going to roughly find the centre of this hole. work out roughly where I come to on my bit in the old hole. By using an awl, I have a centre that won't slip. I have a mark that's not going to move. This larch is quite dense, so it cuts lovely crisp holes. Roughly where I was. So what I'm doing, I'm just looking to be roughly. Yep, that's good. Right, that's done with. And this is what I'm saying about these flat bits with the points in, and you hear me talk about them. Is how crisp a hole they do. There's many ways you could do this. You don't have to do it by hand. You know, I have done them. You drill your hole on the pillar drill. You can then come back and if you drill your hole on the pillar drill, you can then come back, drill and you can groove this on the spindle if you want to with a stop. But you need to have your stops set up differently for both hands of the window, particularly on these. Drilling my hole, and what I want to see is what size bit was used for the old hole. As I suspected, the old hole was done with a 3/8. So you see now in there, if I get in there at that angle, how the old hole was cut. Okay, so 3/8 long series bit. This is a bit nerve-wracking, it always is. Whenever you do these, I don't like doing them, I have to say. But however you do them and wherever you do them, you just got to do them. I think probably the other one was drilled all the way from the top with a longer auger than this one, because it has a round bottom hole. I'm not putting much pressure on it on the back of the bit at this stage, because I don't want to bow the bit too much. So you see I'm not putting my shoulder against it or anything. And that's us through. And that's that element of this work done. So I will just clean up now. Probably I would just go in there again before we put the cord in and just clean up the bottom of the hole, just to make sure we're deep enough to grab the bit, etc. clean up the walls of the groove, just breaking the arris as well a little bit. And then I'm just going to clean up the bottom of the groove a touch as well. But that's it, guys. One new cord grip done. And that's how you do them. Hole goes down through there. That's it. That's how I would do that job by hand. Looks like there's many ways I can do it. You know, they can be grooved. They can be, you know, they can be cut with the groover. This way, to be honest, a long brace bit is just generally the best way I've found. You can buy long series augers and do it with a power drill. No problem. Just make sure the auger is strong enough that it's not gonna bow and wonder. But if you do see these cord grips when you're remaking windows, it's important to put them back. You know, it's a record of how things were done. I'm seeing far too many that are just grooved straight down midway and nailed on. We need to be putting these back, guys, where we're seeing them. Because it's been lost. It's you know, everything's getting a straight groove in and just nailed in, and it's not right. It's not what was there, you know. It's this sort of like for like remake again thing, you know. We need to be doing the bits that we can do easily. You know, we need to be remaking them. You know, I know not everyone can go to the effort of matching every single moulding, which I do try and do. But there's no excuse for not matching a detail like this. You know, if it's in a window, do it. You see this from, you know, you see it in Georgian windows, you see it in Victorian windows, you see it in all sorts of windows. I always put them back. This is my method of putting cords back. Because you can still, if you need to, put a nail in there, or you can put a nail through the knot. So it can still be nailed on if you need to. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this video enjoyable. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of this kind of stuff or what you want to see. You know, let me know where you want the channel to go now. You know, over the winter, there's nothing like Centre in the Past planned exactly. I've got a couple of interesting jobs I'm doing and going on. So I'll see if I can record some of those, but we'll see. And yeah, let me know what you want to see. Do you want to see more of the building restoration stuff, you know, the timber frame repairs? Do you want to see more of this, more of the joinery, you know, more of the joinery methods, more of the joinery techniques? Let me know down in the comments below, guys. And please make sure you've liked and subscribed, and if you can, spend 5 minutes and share the video. Thanks, guys. Bye.